You're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargalma Tavshinjargal. Our top stories for today. Member of the German Bundestag and Minister of Digital Affairs and Transport is on working visit to Mongolia. A Mongolian judge who has been elected as an international criminal judge will take his oath. Citizens of Mongolia can enjoy 30-day visa-free access to Vietnam. For the news, stay tuned. In a significant diplomatic encounter, Prime Minister Urumding warmly welcomed the delegation led by Volker Wissing, member of the German Bundestag and Minister of Digital Affairs and Transport, currently on an official visit to Mongolia. Reflecting on the robust ties established during the state visit of German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, Prime Minister Urumding conveyed his appreciation for the collaborative efforts undertaken in Ulaanbaatar, emphasizing the commitment to translating this partnership into tangible outcomes.
The Prime Minister underscored the pivotal role played by the recently signed road transport agreement between the two nations, emphasizing the significance in fostering trade, enhancing transport logistics, and fortifying economic ties. Recognizing Mongolia's unique geographical context as a landlocked nation with an expansive territory, he highlighted the government's dedicated focus on developing crucial infrastructure, including roads, air transport, and railways, and invited responsible participation in these endeavors. During the exchange of perspectives, discussions on various pivotal topics such as augmenting the frequency of flights connecting both countries and facilitating the training of Mongolian youth in Germany in key areas like road construction, transport, logistics, digitalization, and professional education. Prime Minister Urumding also stressed the imperative of addressing urban congestion. Minister Wissing commended Mongolia's strides in information technology and the digitization of public services, expressing admiration for these achievements. Furthermore, he conveyed his commitment to enhancing bilateral relations with a robust economic agenda and fostering increased collaboration in the private sector. The meeting concluded with a shared optimism for the continued enrichment and deepening of the ties between Mongolia and Germany.
Justice Urumding of Mongolia Supreme Court will take his oath during the upcoming swearing-in ceremony at the International Criminal Court in The Hague on the 8th of this month. As the first Mongolian judge appointed to the ICC, this event represents a significant step forward in global justice, showcasing both Justice Urumding's legal expertise and Mongolia's emerging role onto the international stage. Justice Urumding of Mongolia Supreme Court made history during the 22nd session of the Assembly of States that are parties to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, held in New York from December 4th to 14th, 2023. The session saw the election of 6 judges to the ICC for 10 years, from 2024 to 2033. Justice Urumding's candidacy garnered significant support, earning 81 votes from the 114 state parties in the first round of voting. His victory marked a historic moment for Mongolia, as he became the first Mongolian to be appointed as a judge of the ICC. This achievement not only reflects Mongolia's active engagement in international affairs, but also underscores the international community's recognition of Mongolia's legal expertise and commitment to justice. Justice Urumding brings over a decade of experience serving in Mongolia's Supreme Court, particularly in the criminal chamber, and possesses 30 years of expertise in criminal law and proceedings. His appointment to the ICC is expected to make a substantial contribution to international law, particularly in international criminal law. Moreover, Mongolia's ratification of the ICC Rome Statute in 2002 underscores its dedication to combating impunity for the most serious crimes that affect the international community, including genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and crimes of aggression. Justice Urumding's upcoming oath-taking ceremony, set for the 8th of this month in The Hague, further underscores Mongolia's commitment to promoting justice and accountability on a global stage. The agreement between the governments of Mongolia and the Socialist Republic of Vietnam on mutual exemptions of diplomatic, official, and ordinary passport holders from visa requirements officially came into effect. This landmark agreement, inked in Hanoi on November 1, 2023, opens new horizons for travel and collaboration between the two nations.
In a move fostering greater connectivity, citizens of Mongolia are now able to travel to Vietnam without the hassle of obtaining a visa, enjoying a seamless entry for stays of up to 30 days. This development is poised to strengthen cultural, economic, and diplomatic ties, promoting a closer relationship between the people of Mongolia and Vietnam. For those eager to explore the vibrant landscapes and rich heritage of Vietnam, Air Mongolia has stepped up its game. The airline is now operating direct flights to Hanoi, Vietnam 3 times a week, providing convenient travel options on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. This initiative not only facilitates tourism but also enhances business opportunities and people-to-people connections. The visa exemption signifies a strategic leap forward in bilateral relations, promising to boost tourism and trade and fostering a deep understanding between the citizens of Mongolia and Vietnam. As the agreement comes into effect, it opens a new chapter in the diplomatic playbook, reflecting the commitment of both nations to creating an environment of ease and collaboration on multiple fronts.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. President Joe Biden and his predecessor, Donald Trump, romped coast to coast on Super Tuesday, all but cementing a November rematch and increasing pressure on the former president's last major rival, Nikki Haley, to leave the Republican race.
Biden and Trump each won California, Texas, Alabama, Colorado, Maine, Oklahoma, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, Minnesota, and Massachusetts. Biden also won the Democratic contests in Utah, Vermont, and Iowa. Haley won Vermont, denying Trump a full sweep, but the former president carried other states that might have been favorable to her, such as Virginia, Massachusetts, and Maine, which have large swaths of moderate voters like those who have backed her in previous primaries. Not enough states will have voted until later this month for Trump or Biden to formally become their party's presumptive nominees, but the primary's biggest day made their rematch a near certainty. Both the 81-year-old Biden and 77-year-old Trump continue to dominate their parties despite facing questions about age and neither having broad popularity across the general electorate. The only contest Biden lost Tuesday was the Democratic caucus in American Samoa, the tiny U.S. territory in the South Pacific Ocean. Biden was defeated by previously unknown candidate Jason Palmer, 51 votes to 40.
Biden versus Trump, the rematch is now all but assured after both men romped their way through Super Tuesday. They each did have a hiccup. President Biden lost in American Samoa, while Nikki Haley scored her second win of the nominating cycle over Donald Trump in Vermont. But she wasn't able to capitalize in states that might have really helped her, like in Virginia and in Maine, with their big swaths of moderate voters. Now, even with their big wins, even with their big delegate hauls, neither Biden nor Trump can call themselves their party's presumptive nominee just yet. That will likely happen soon, but more states need to vote first. Trump spoke at his Florida golf club and called this a great night. A Haley spokeswoman said it's pretty clear a lot of GOP voters have some serious concerns about Trump. And in his own statement, President Biden said tonight's results have left Americans with a clear choice. And that choice is not Donald Trump.
Haley watched the election results in private and had no campaign events scheduled going forward. Her campaign said in a statement that the results reflected there were many Republicans who are expressing deep concerns about Donald Trump. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, meanwhile, was packed for a victory party. Among those attending were staff and supporters, including the rapper Forgiato Blow and Fort Moore, North Carolina Representative Madison Cawthorn. The crowd erupted as Fox News, playing on screens around the ballroom, announced that the former president had won North Carolina's GOP primary. Biden didn't give a speech, but instead issued a statement warning that Tuesday's results had left Americans with a clear choice and touting his own accomplishments after beating Trump. Despite Biden's and Trump's domination of their parties, polls make it clear that the broad electorate doesn't want this year's general election to be identical to the 2020 race. A new Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll finds a majority of Americans don't think either Biden or Trump has the necessary mental acuity for the job.
Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said leaders from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations have achieved a great deal of agreement at the special summit in Melbourne Wednesday.
Albanese said peace and security is the key to success.
Together we achieved a great deal of agreement today, all of it built on our shared understanding that the ASEAN-Australia partnership has never been stronger or more important to the peace, stability and prosperity of our region. ASEAN itself is a powerful force for regional stability because, as all of us acknowledge, peace is the essential precondition for prosperity. For our region to flourish and for our people to succeed into the future, we must continue to preserve that peace and security through the rules and rights that uphold the sovereignty of all nations and the dignity of every individual. The vision statement and the Melbourne Declaration that we issued today speak to our strong consensus and a shared sense of purpose. Together we have every reason to be optimistic for the future security of our region, for the future prosperity of our economies, for the future success of our citizens, and for the future strength of our comprehensive strategic partnership in the decades ahead.
The Prime Minister of Laos, Sonaksai Siphandone, is co-chairing the ASEAN Special Summit. He said through a translator that leaders set the vision for the ASEAN-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership for the next 50 years.
During the special summit, we jointly set the vision for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership for the next 50 years. We adopted two key outcome documents, namely the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and Australia Leaders Vision Statement, Partners for Peace and Prosperity, and Melbourne Declaration of Partnership for the Future. These documents outline the areas of cooperation between Association of Southeast Asian Nations and Australia. I won't delve into details. I suggest the media take a closer look at the information in these documents.
Australia is hosting the special summit to mark 50 years since it became the 10-nation bloc's first external partner. China's increasing assertiveness in the region and the ongoing violence and humanitarian crisis in Myanmar as ASEAN states have also loomed over the three-day summit.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.